Our road trip through geologic time starts with us looking for the oldest rocks in Idaho.
Hello all! Today we are in southern Idaho in City of Rocks National Reserve.
If someone told you that the oldest rocks in Idaho are in this park, where would you look for them? From far, these rocks look all the same, but don't let your eyes trick you. They can be different both in age and in type of rock that they are. Even rocks that are very close to each other could have been formed millions of years apart. An example of that are the Twin Sisters, a couple of twin rocks where the oldest rocks in Idaho are.
So the Twin Sisters are two rocks that look alike, but actually they are very different. The rocks that are at the southern part belong to the Green Creek Complex, which is 2,500 million years old.
2,500 millions of years is the same as 2.5 billions of years, which is a number that contains 8 zeros, and that is a lot.
But the rocks that are at the northern part, they are rocks that were formed just about 21 million years ago. So they're very young when we are talking about geological time.
To check on the oldest rocks in Idaho, I put on my hiking boots, took my geological hammer, and hiked towards the southern sister.
Right now, I am sitting on top of 2.5 billion year old rocks, the oldest rocks that we can find in Idaho State.
So why do I want to show you the oldest rocks in Idaho? Before you think I am obsessed with very old rocks, you gotta know that Earth 2 billion years ago was a totally different planet than the one that we know right now.
Okay, so let me tell you something about the time when these rocks were formed. This time is known as the Archean. There are many different things that have happened in Earth since 2.5 billion years ago. First, the atmosphere as we know it as right now was totally different. There were a lot of toxic gases on the atmosphere and there was no at all free oxygen on it. Second, there were no continents, continents were just being formed. So what we know just as America and Europe, that things didn't existed. What was happening is that huge masses of rock were pushing against each other to form what we know as craters. And the third thing is that there was no life on Earth. There were no insects, there were no fish, there were only one single-celled organisms going around in the Archean time, and these were probably bacteria. Most of these rocks, the very old rocks I have mentioned that are 2.5 billion years old, belong to the Green Creek Complex.
The Green Creek Complex is one of many groups of metamorphic rocks which make up the base of the North American continent and that have found a way to be now exposed in the surface.
These rocks have been buried underneath lots of other rocks, and they have received a lot of pressure because of this. Also, not only pressure, but also temperature have affected these rocks. And this has resulted in something that in geology we call metamorphism.
Metamorphism is a word that means change. This is what happens to metamorphic rocks. They start either as an igneous, sedimentary, or metamorphic rock. But when heat and pressure change the physical and chemical properties of the rocks, these rocks become another rock. This means that the metamorphic rocks that we see in City of Rocks used to be other type of rock. In the case of the southern twin sister, these rocks used to be igneous rocks, which formed 2.5 billions of years ago, but they have changed through time. In conclusion, the oldest rocks in Idaho are 2.5 billions of years old, and they belong to a group of metamorphic rocks called the Green Creek Complex.